Okay, picture this. The fate of the entire world is resting on the shoulders of one incredibly overpowered, battle-hardened warrior. But his approach to saving it, it is completely unlike anything you would ever expect. Today, we are diving into an explainer of When the Strongest Hunter Adopts 4 Dragons. It's an absolute masterclass that blends brutal, high-stakes action with some incredibly wholesome found family dynamics. Let's get right into it.
So right off the bat, you need to know that our main character, Jingihat, isn't just a strong hunter. He holds the ultimate cheat code. He is a regressor. This guy has literally watched the world end more times than anyone ever should. See, in every single previous timeline, humanity inevitably hunts down and kills 4 scattered dragon hatchlings. And you can guess what happens next. The adult dragons go absolutely berserk, they invade Earth for revenge, and the apocalypse kicks off. Now, Jingihat fights them off every time, slaughtering hundreds of them completely solo, but it is never enough. The planet always gets wiped out.
Now, you might be wondering, how do you stop an unwinnable war? Well, to prevent Earth's destruction, Shellgite completely flips the script. Instead of fighting adult dragons, he goes right to the root of the problem. His grandmaster plan? He's going to find those 4 dragon hatchlings, who, by the way, happen to look exactly like ordinary human girls, take them in, protect them, and give them the happy childhood they never had. The logic is simple. If they never die, the apocalypse never begins.
And this is where the story gets incredibly funny. It's just a massive, hilarious shift in character. Think about it. In his past lives, he was this blood-soaked nightmare for the entire dragon race. But in this current timeline, he is literally bribing these absolute monsters with blueberry egg tarts. He's going grocery shopping, he's dealing with teenage rebellion. It's amazing. The situation literally forces a cold, emotionless killer to learn patience and genuine care.
Of course, building this little found family isn't exactly a walk in the park. It requires a massive globe-trotting mission. He kicks things off in Italy to secure the green dragon, then jumps all the way to an African wasteland to rescue the battle-crazed red dragon. From there, he tracks down the gold dragon, who's stranded in the Amazon rainforest, and finally brings them all back home to safely hatch the youngest, the blue dragon.
Let's actually meet the girls. Kite names them based on the 4 seasons. And trust me, each of these monstrous powerhouses comes with a very distinct personality. You've got Bomb, the eldest. She's a sharp and incredibly perceptive 20-year-old anchor for the group. Then there's Yoram. She's 16 and basically a feisty, combat-obsessed tomboy. Gaia is just 10 years old, acting like a golden retriever of a child who constantly craves fame. And finally, little Gully is the newborn polymorph baby of Winter. But don't let their human appearances fool you. These dragons grow incredibly fast and possess absolutely terrifying power. Okay, keep this number in your head. 199. That was Yoram's flawless combat win streak right before Giyate had to step in. She was operating as a vigilante dubbed the Night Hunter, and this 16-year-old red dragon was just wreaking absolute havoc on terrorist organizations strictly for the thrill of the fight. But her luck runs out. She crosses paths with Javier, who happens to be the 8th strongest superhuman in the African Union, and he corners her with a devastating energy blade. And this is where we see Gintont's true colors. Without even breaking a sweat, he speed blitzes Javier, completely severs his arm, and coldly drops this line: "I am his escort to hell." He doesn't just hurt the guy, he intentionally inflicts sheer psychological terror. He knows that superhuman healers can fix a physical arm, but there is no magic to heal pure trauma. It's a total masterclass in intimidation, and it really forces Yoram to realize exactly how monstrous her new guardian truly is. But hey, having godlike, unlimited power doesn't exactly save your bank account when you have teenage dragon daughters. In an attempt to win their trust, Gillamite gives them total freedom with his black card, and they absolutely max it out, dropping over $40,000 in a single day. Galago, crazy buying fancy outfits, Yoram buys a high-end smartwatch and literally new weapons, and Bomb, well, she just buys a single-potted plant. She explains she wants to nurture something memorable. It's such a grounding, funny moment that really shows Gillamite stepping into the shoes of a totally stressed-out provider. Academy battles and OP flexes. So, to keep the girls entertained and properly documented in human society, Gornty enrolls them in Lair Academy. And yeah, dropping ancient apex predators into a high school full of arrogant elites goes exactly how you'd expect. During a dueling exam, Yoram is up against Sophia, this highly trained Russian elite. What does Yoram do? She casually breaks Sophia's arms with her bare fists. And when Sophia psychotically attacks her from behind with a mana-infused blade after the match is already over, oh man,
Yorm retaliates with absolute bloodlust. She beats her to a pulp, while Gorinti just calmly watches from the sidelines, only later advising his daughter to, kill without witnesses next time. The stakes really hit the ceiling during the anti-demonic human battle simulation. On one side, you have the arrogant top-tier elites of Team 1, led by Mongho, a prestigious Sword Clan descendant. On the other side, the massive underdogs of Team 50, which is basically just Yoram carrying two completely exhausted snipers. But with Gita acting as their brilliant tactical operator behind the scenes, Yoram's team secures a massive point lead, which forces a final explosive confrontation.
In that final clash, Monghu unleashes his ultimate family technique, the Rising Dragon. It looks completely devastating, but Yoram? She literally catches this lightning-fast blade in her mouth. She snaps it in half and then delivers the ultimate trash talk finish. She shouts out that quote, completely disrespecting his legendary heritage, smashes him into the ground, and easily secures the absolute victory for her exhausted team. No contest.
Hatching the Winter Dragon. Right in the middle of all this academy chaos, the blue dragon egg that Bomb has been nurturing is finally ready. Now, to safely hatch the tiny dragon into human form, Bomb has to exhaust herself using a super risky magic transfer. She actually initiates this process right next to Gide so she can draw on his protective presence. It leaves her completely drained and bedridden, but it actually works, successfully allowing the adorable marshmallow-like blue dragon to finally emerge.
This leads us to a huge emotional milestone. During a family beach trip, Ginete accidentally cooks a meal using poisonous mushrooms. While the older dragons are completely panicking, little Ghoulie takes a bite and actually speaks for the very first time, calling it delicious. Looking down at her tiny hand as she smiles up at him, Ginete is suddenly slammed with the memory of brutally torturing the blue dragon in his past lives. The sheer trauma just breaks, and for the very first time in the entire story, our emotionless regressor sincerely smiles. It proves his new peaceful approach is finally working.
A ghost from the past. Well, peace never lasts long, especially when you're literally trying to stop the apocalypse. Enter the demonic humans. Unlike normal superhumans who carry blessings, demonic humans feed on sins, like malice and lust, to cause massive global tragedies. They are the true sworn enemies of humanity, responsible for all the horrors in Geet's past lives. And worse, he realizes they are quietly infiltrating the academy right under his nose, starting with the head professor.
So Gite goes on the offensive. He sends his shadow clone Maxim straight to a Moscow research facility to do the dirty work. Maxim brutally interrogates the cult members and uncovers a terrifying plot. It turns out the malice from beyond the horizon has actively twisted this specific timeline just to counter Gite. The cult is preparing to deploy a commander-class, transcendent demonic human known only as Prototype X.
But here is the massive problem. The malice from beyond the horizon has entirely changed the rules of regression. In every single previous timeline, Prototype X, who is this terrifying being capable of binding countless demonic minds together, was always a male. Gyelt knew exactly who he was and exactly how to hunt him down. But his clone reports a chilling detail. The timeline has shifted. Prototype X is female.
So, Ginny leaves his daughters safely on their beach vacation, tracks down the heavily armored Prototype X, and he is fully resolved. He's ready to execute this monster and end the threat to his family once and for all. But when the helmet finally comes off, he is completely paralyzed. He stops dead in his tracks.
Hi, Bujal. The twisted timeline hasn't just changed the enemy's gender, it has literally weaponized his deepest grief. Prototype X is his true love from his second regression. She is the woman he lost in the horrific wars of his past. So, we are left with the ultimate cliffhanger. How can the strongest hunter in the world possibly strike down the woman he once loved just to save his new dragon daughters? It's a crazy situation, and it totally flips everything we know upside down.